Today we're going to learn the solo from Bohemian Rhapsody. This is a two-part lesson. First we're going to learn the first solo that Brian May plays, and the next one we're going to learn the finishing solo that he does that is really cool as well. I'm going to teach you six separate figures that comprise this solo, and if you devote a little bit of time to each of these figures, you'll see that this solo is not as menacing as it might seem at the beginning. So let's start working. Figure number one relies mostly on the E-flat major scale, which is the prominent scale in this solo. And we play it in the 8th fret position, and the E-flat starting on a C note on the low E string would look like this. Okay, so that's the position we're going to play it in. And let's go over the notes of the solo next. The solo begins on a B flat note on the 8th fret D string. And where we go from there is we use our index, middle, and ring finger to do a pull on the F note on the G string, 10th fret, and we pull it all the way up to the G. The B flat right to the F note bend, okay? And after the bend, what we actually do is we pull off the note back to a E flat note on the 8th fret G string using our index finger. So it looks like this all together. You do a bend and a pull off right away. And right after that, we add the pinky on the B string, which is a B flat note on the 11th fret. So next part, we use our index finger on the 8th fret B string, playing a G note, and we lead with that note into a pull from a B flat, same B flat as before, but we use our fingers to bend it all the way up to a C. Okay, so all together until this point we have next we have C note starting on the high E string with our index finger, and the next lick looks like this. So that's a C, D, E flat, C, D, E flat, slide to an F. And between the D and the E flat, we do a hammer on. We don't pick that. So we only do pick, pick, hammer. Okay? So let's go over figure number one once again. The vibrato is always a good idea with this solo. Figure number two starts on the 13th fret with our index finger, and it's a C note on the B string. So that note leads to an F, a high F on the E string, also on the 13th fret. Okay, so the first two notes are C, F. And for the rest, you pretty much stay on the high E string and you play a G on the 15th fret, A flat on the 16th fret, a B flat on the 18th fret, and a high C on the 20th fret. And on the high C, you do a vibrato. Together, it will sound like this. I'll start slow and speed it up as I go. The third figure is probably the most complicated of all the figures, and we're going to break it down really slow so you can see all the notes and the techniques used. It starts with anchoring the index finger on the 13th fret on the high string, which is an F note, and the middle and ring finger are going to do a pull-off and hammer-on action that I'm going to demonstrate in a second. So the lick looks like this. I'll just play it and then explain it. And what happens here is an A flat is plucked to a G, back to an A flat plucked, and the rest is hammer-on pull-off from the G to the A flat and back to the F. So I only pluck once on that G note, and the rest is really just the fingers hammering on and pulling off. So together it will look like this. And there's two more notes after that, which are a G and an F. So altogether, G, F. And all we do for the second half is we go one string up and we basically do the same pattern with E flat, D, E flat, plucked, and then the same hammer-on pull-off technique. And ending with a D and a C. So together you will hear this. And you end on a B flat on the G string, 15th fret. Figures 2 and 3 together will sound like this. The fourth figure is pretty straightforward. It's a part of the E flat major scale, but we start on a B flat, making this scale a Mixolydian scale. We're going to talk about modes in a later time, but it starts on a B flat on a G string, and the first half ends on a B flat on the E string, the high E string, on the 18th fret. So the first half sounds like this. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat. And all we do for the second half is add a high C, and you can add vibrato to that as well. It's a choice you can make. So together that will sound like this. I'll start slow. That's figure number 4. Let's move on to the last two figures. Figure number 5 may look familiar to you. That's because it is. We played it before. And it starts with a middle finger, 10th fret, high E string. It's a D note. So we have D to E flat, hammer on, and then picking a C note with our index finger. Okay, so D to E flat, C, D to E flat, C, D to E flat, F. Last figure, figure number 6. In this figure, we start with the ring finger on the F note using the G string, 10th fret. And we have, right after that, we skip to the B string, to the G, and then to the A flat, 1 fret next to it on the 9th fret. Then we have kind of a stretch with our pinky. We go all the way up to the 13th fret, high E string, to an F. So, if this stretch is hard for you for now, and you want to get some intermediate position until you practice and get that flexibility, you can start with the F on the index finger and move upwards instead of skipping a string, and it will look like this. F, G on the 12th fret, same string, A flat on the same string on the 13th fret, and then it's less of a stretch. But I recommend the first position better. So we have, and the second half of that ending riff is what's interesting about it is the picking pattern, because we go into a C sharp on the high E string with our middle finger, but the picking sounds like this. So what he does there is he does a downstroke on it, a down pick, followed by an alternating down, up, and a down at the end. So overall 6 picking numbers, but it's 1, and then a down, up, and another one. So down, up, down. But he does it really like slightly faster, so it sounds like this. And after that we go to a C sharp on the D string with our ring finger. So it looks like this. The last note is an A with our index finger on the 7th fret D string. Altogether, figure number 6. That was the first part of the 2-part Bohemian Rhapsody solo section, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please press like on the bottom right, and I hope to see you in the next part, which is just as cool as this one. So see you next time.